Yo, yo,
Hey, what's going on, guys?
nothing much. Big party here, man.
Yeah, big party. Is How'd you guys join? Because was there like the link that I just sent, or was there a different link? It should be in the email, right?
Um, Whatever's in my calendar, I typically join.
Okay, cool. Oh, maybe it's just
I
it's just
joined from
listen.
Slack.
Okay, because this is like the first time I've ever seen just one person
Oh,
really
I know.
join.
I'm like, what's going on
Okay, there
here?
we go. Jorge is there. Yeah, I mean, usually it's like 10, 15 people. That's
Yeah.
kind of, but all right, cool. Jenna, by the way, very nice to have you here. I've been following your journey, throughout the whole process with Mo and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just wanted to officially welcome you here into our
Thank
community.
you. Thank you.
Awesome.
George,
How you
what's
liking
going
it so
on?
far?
Oh, sorry.
How are you liking it so far?
It's good. I had my onboarding call a couple of hours ago with Chris, and that was good. Um, so we got a good start. I got a whole bunch of homework to do over the next few days, so I'm going to get
Yeah,
right on that after this call. So yeah, I'm excited.
love it. Awesome. George, how's it going?
Living the dream, bro. Living the
Love
Come
dream.
it.
on, man.
Love it. There we go. Well, it's a big party today, right? Just like Kyle said. So, just you guys specifically. So we can go ahead and go into anything you guys would like to discuss, anything in general, agency related, business, whatever it is, mindset. I mean anything. Open book here for you guys. All right, more people join.
Well, no, we're in the process right now of starting to get our first leads that
Uh-huh.
we're talking to. Um, a few of them, well, one or two just were bad leads, but then it has to do with, I guess it's a kind of a numbers game. Excuse me. But we're also trying to tweak our offer as well as what we're doing, putting out there. We're trying some cold DMs across the different uh, social
What
networks.
about LinkedIn? A lot of people are having massive success with it.
Yeah.
It's I don't
Yes.
know if you noticed Monica, she closed her deal, $60,000 deal from LinkedIn. And there's a lot of other people. I think Jordan as well, he's generating a lot of calls. So how about that specifically for you guys?
So with LinkedIn, our best leads have come from LinkedIn so far.
Yeah.
We had a really good conversation. We had two really good conversations. That they're still in the. We didn't say
Okay.
no. We didn't say no, but we're still kind of thinking about it because they have somebody else, and they're not happy with them if they're talking to us, but
Yeah.
they're kind of like apprehensive about, am I, should I stick with the devil I know, or should I risk it on you guys and then have to start all over with ads and then pixels and all that stuff, that sort of thing. So we're trying to kind of ease them on in. Come on, you're not happy. Give us a try. We're willing to start small, to earn your trust in your business, and we'll take it from there. So, you know, we're we're at that stage with a potential client right now that
Okay.
we think we have a good shot of convincing them, but that's where we're at.
Got it. Do you guys by any chance have the call recording for that?
We actually do. I don't know. I have to talk to Joe. Joe's because Joe works tonight. She's working night shift tonight, so she's
Oh
resting right
wow.
now. So she's the
Okay,
one that
no
was
worries.
actually on the call. That's why.
Okay, yeah. If you guys would like me to rip it apart, more than happy to do so. But yeah, it's good. It's good. LinkedIn is Jordan. Actually, you're here, right? You want to
Yeah,
talk a
I'm
little bit
here.
about LinkedIn that's you're having because that's where we're just discussing.
Yeah, LinkedIn is really great. I think it's for me personally, I was mentioning that I feel like it's probably gonna give me even more valuable value than the Facebook ads for the mere fact that it's organic. And I noticed when I did the targeting, I set it up for CEO, president, owner, and all of the people that I seem to get from LinkedIn are all high ticket people. So I spoke to one person who was a broker, and I wasn't able to close the sale, and it wasn't because of the fact he didn't have the money. it was because, and you mentioned that sometimes there are people you just can't help, they just don't need your service. He didn't need the service I had to offer, but he was kind of interested in Ulink. He wanted something unique, so I offered him Ulink. I told him it's proprietary. He said he's going to think it over and give me an answer later. But as far as the lead generation goes, he let me know that, hey, the lead generation is working good, I'm satisfied with this. And I said, well, I don't want to sell you. He said he already had Facebook ads set up, he already was using it, was working good, he had a funnel set up. So I was like, well, if my services won't be useful to you, I don't want to try to sell you something you have. But he was interested in something that was unique, different. And I said, well, I have this proprietary software called Ulink, and that's how I found you. And it's very useful. And he said, oh, that sounds interesting. He was kind of interested in that. I
Okay.
have another client that I found from Ulink, and he came up and his first thing to me was, how much does it cost? Like, I'm not used to that, but right off the bat, he just said, how much do your services cost? He didn't even want to hear about the other stuff. He said, listen, I don't understand the technical stuff. I just buy leads. I don't really care about how it works. He was straight up telling me he doesn't really know or really care much. He said, listen, he let me know that he was going to be getting $300,000 soon coming in, and he had money to spend, and he makes apparently like $480,000 a year. So he's
So
like
I'm
a
curious,
really
what did you say to that when someone comes in and like they specifically ask like what, how much does it cost, or they're just trying to get to the numbers? How did you handle that one?
to be honest, I was kind of floored because I wasn't expecting somebody right off the bat to just jump to pricing. They usually want to hear about the service, but he came to me and he just came up with the pricing. How much does it cost? And I was like,
Yeah,
whoa. And sometimes people can't
really
afford
good.
the
Yeah, a really
service.
good way to handle that one is like, I hear you. I'm more than happy to get into all that, with you. But I'm just really curious about your goals and like currently like where you're at, where you're wanting to go. Because the worst thing I want to do here is overcharge you. I wouldn't want to overcharge you, so I can't just give you. You know what I mean? You position it in a way where it's like in the best interest for the client versus another response. So that's a really good one that we like to use. And from there, people just like, they're like, okay, they understand. Like, all right, of course they have to know where I'm trying to go. Like, are you trying to, and sometimes if they push back, like you can play it with them, right? So it's like, man, like, I really don't know where your goals are. Are you trying to make $10 or are you trying to make 10 million?
he
Kind of
he was
depends on
he,
that.
he was like the only person I've spoke to so far that actually said my prices were reasonable. When I told him my price, he's like, "Oh, that's low," because I told him the price of the basic package, which my basic package is like $2,100 a month, and it's flat.
Okay.
And then I kind of used the standard pricing for cans. I kind of thought that was kind of good, so I used the standard pricing that was recommended. And then I told him that the big package was, the standard package was, it was $5,000 one time cost, and then recurring of 3,000, and then there was a 3 month contract requirement at least. And he was good with the pricing. He said that's good, and he said let's talk. And I talked to him I think this week. He told me to give him a call on April 15th. He wants me to call him on April 15th to discuss it. But he was real excited. He was like, "Oh, those prices are great." He's like, "This everything sounds good." And I explained to him what I do, and he said everything sounds good. And he says, "I want to talk with you." And I called him earlier in the week, and he said, "Give him a call back on April the 15th because he's really busy." But call him
Okay.
back.
So yeah, the thing is, man, like we don't take anything that anyone really says until they actually take some sort of action,
Of
right?
course,
Like
yeah,
people will say whatever they have to say, but it's like we need some sort of commitment,
of
right?
course.
And did you try to angle like a deposit or try to get some sort of commitment out of him versus just being like, all right, cool, I'll call you April 15th, because that's not something we want to do.
No, and that's a good recommendation, Zarar. I should probably do that to see if they're serious. To ask, would you want to put a deposit down to
Yeah.
see how serious they are. I haven't tried that, and I probably should do that. I have another client. I sent it to the channel. Maybe you could review the cost for me. Maybe you could review it now, while we're
Yeah,
in the
sure.
meeting, because I sent the link to you and Mo, and basically I have this client. I did 2 meetings with her. She's very interested in services with me, and we had 2 meetings, and she said right now the lead generation is something she wants, but it's not within her range. But since I am a digital marketing company, I do have my own personal skills. Like I'm able to do web
Well,
development.
sorry, one second. I pay very close attention to words, right? She wants lead generation, but it's not within her range. What does that mean?
Um, the lead generation, the pricing I was offering from, she was saying at this point it wasn't something that she couldn't do, but there was other services that she needed. So I'm working on other services with her. For instance, she needed to get a website. So we are in discussions of me building, because I know how to develop websites. We're in process of me developing a website for her potentially, and that's in the pipeline. And that's a digital marketing service I'm going to offer. And she also needs me. She said she's going to need me to help run her social media. So that's a service I could also provide for her. We're going to discuss the pricing for that. That wasn't something I originally planned to do as a service, but it's something she needs. And I'm like, I could get, she's willing to come on as a client for that. That's a start. So she wants social media assistance, like with Instagram and stuff, like posting. And I'm like, I could do that. And she needs help with.
What's your pricing for that for those services?
I don't even know what to charge, and I was just trying to come up and make up stuff because I didn't have a price for that actually, Zarar, because that wasn't something I was intending on doing. It's something I'm just helping her with. And I might have lowballed it a bit, but I told her that I would manage. So here's what I did for her. I told her, I said, hey, I will manage your website for you for a certain rate, but I said if you agree to sign up for lead generation, I will add that service and manage it for free if you do the lead generation, to give her an incentive. And it's something she's willing to discuss later, because I'm thinking of me. If I was a client, what I would want, I want to see value. So I'm trying to offer clients as much value as I can to kind of over deliver on their
No, I love
expectations.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you want to do. So one thing I'll just say, and this is for everyone as well, you may be thinking you want, a very specific dream type of client, but the reality is you'll get some of those, but not everyone is going to come in for that specific thing, right? So just like what happened with Jordan, someone wants a specific, like they want a website or they want something else. So what I would recommend is, like, as a digital marketing agency, you guys may be offering like one specific service or one specific thing, but like at least have some sort of structure or some sort of understanding of, like, for the most part, some of these people will want the basic things, which is like a website, social media management, SEO potentially, right? So like, kind of like start thinking about how you want to package some of those things. So that way, that's not your initial offer, but if the conversation leads to that, the worst thing we want to do is waste a call or waste a lead, right? Because you guys have already spent money, especially if you're spending ads, right? You already spent the money in order to acquire the client or like the lead. So why just kind of let them go if we can actually fulfill for them, right? And especially in the beginning, cash flow is everything, right? We don't want you guys to be spending money out of pocket for softwares, for all these things, right? Like, we want to get that we want to get that rotating as fast as possible. So in the beginning, it's like, just land whoever you can. Whoever you feel like you can deliver it to. And also what it does is it gives you a lot of experience, because for some of you guys who haven't landed some clients, like in the beginning, right? Some of you guys are agencies as well already, but for the new people who haven't landed them, it's actually very different than what you think, than what actually happens, right? So it's like, it gives you that experience as well. So it's not, instead of focusing so much in on like the money or the revenue, it's like, that experience is also worth a lot, right? Because now you know how to deliver something, you know how to communicate, you know what some of the things are going to happen, and you can start thinking later on. It's like when you outsource it to like a team or or whoever you want to hire, you can actually manage them properly because you've been through that yourself.
I was thinking, Zarar, because my original thing when I came into the program was, let me just go for the big fish. Let me just get a $60,000 client and just get that. But then I'm starting to think maybe if it's okay if I work with some clients that are nice to work with, and then maybe a little bit low ticket clients, if I get a couple of them, because like you said, I'll get cash flow. And then if I get one or two of those big clients, I won't have to focus. I could like help. Like you said, I don't want to waste money on leads. So if I can get them with something, it's better to get them with some sort of service and get $0. Get something.
100%, especially in the beginning, right? And
Yeah.
if you're focused, I like that idea, and this is exactly how we thought as well. I remember we were charging 10K per month. That was our bare minimum. And I'll tell you, when we first started, man, like, we wasted a lot of leads because we were so stuck up. We were like, 10K is only what we're going to charge, right? But then we start realizing, like, hold up, chances are you're probably newer to the space, right? I know some of you guys already have agencies, but I'm talking to the ones who don't. It's like, who just kind of started. It's like, chances are you're probably newer. So you're going to have to rely way more on your sales skills versus anything else, and which is very, very difficult, right? Like, convincing someone for 60K and you don't have any, like, you're just kind of starting, good luck with that, right? Like, that's a lot of money for people. So I would rather, just like you're saying, right, go for the low ticket, get some of those. When I say low ticket, anything 2K plus, that's still pretty good, right? $2,000
Yes, it's still
plus.
good. Yeah, no, it's cash flow. Listen, it's cash flow. It helps.
Yeah, your profit margins are like anywhere from 50 to 55% on that. And it pays for the business to be able to be at least in a place where it's, where you're not putting money from your pocket. Because I know the stress, right? I've been there, right? It's like, man, these small things add up, right? This software, that thing, this pay, all these small things add up. So it's in your best interest. Because what also starts happening is you start thinking very differently. when you don't have to worry about small little things, like it's just kind of like these death by a thousand cuts, right? It's necessary though, it's super necessary, but it's like, how can we offload these expenses as fast as we possibly can so that you can start thinking as a real agency owner, as a real agency CEO, right? Because you not making any revenue and you just kind of like being boxed off of like, no, I only want a 60K client, is putting yourself in a position where, if you don't land, what's going to happen, right? Your savings keep going down. It depends on, like, how much money you're putting into the business. So it's like, it's in your best interest, land something quick, get some sort of client in, and it gives that momentum, right? It's also a mindset, right? We're also all human. We all have emotions. It helps, right? Where that's like, oh, I landed my first client. And if I can land one, I can land five, I can land 10, I can land 100. Trust me,
That's
it's really that. It's really, there's nothing really to it. It's just like that first one, crack it, from there you can take off.
that's where I'm headed out now. That's what I'm trying to lead towards. I'm just trying to get the first win, and that's what I'm leaning towards. And I think I have it pretty much. But like you said, I gotta wait until she signs up. But she seems pretty committed. I sent the video to. If you wanted to view the second video, I can,
Yeah.
because I did two calls with her, and I would, maybe if you want to view it here, you can, because she gave me agreement in the video, and she's very, very interested in it. She had to talk to. She's married. She had to discuss things with her spouse, and uh,
Okay.
we had good rapport. We're both. I actually found out that she lives in uh San Diego. She's in California, but we're both from Jersey. So we found out we both were from New Jersey. So we kind of had an instant kind of connection because we're both from the same state. We're both from the same. I know the area she's from. So
I used to live in San Diego for like 15 years, so we just
yeah,
moved
she's
to.
from San
Yeah.
Diego, and I'm from northern Jersey. She lived in central Jersey, where my aunt used to live at. So I'm familiar with the area, and we had a conversation about that.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah, so just go ahead and pull up the call, but I'll get back to it because I want to make sure everybody, if there's any questions or concerns from anyone else, I'd like to address those first, and then we can, like, towards the end, we can review your call. All right?
Okay. Do you it was sent to you in
If you can
Slack.
just drop it here, you just drop the link here, the specific one that you.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure, I can do that. I'll drop the link in the thing for you. Sure. No
Cool.
problem.
All right. Who's next? Again, guys, for the people who are just coming in, I'd like this to be like an open Q&A kind of thing where we talk anything about marketing, sales. I think we can go deep into something specific as well if you'd like. But yeah, just wanted to leave the floor open to any of you guys. Yes, Sansom.
All right. So, good day, everybody. How's everybody doing? Quick question. All right. So I've been struggling a little bit with the actual mechanics of the business, but I know what I know, which is sales. All right. So I just started talking to contractors I know and stuff like that. And one of them, a friend of mine, actually, I was telling him what I was doing with the marketing agency for general contractors. And I know I didn't think about it at that moment, but he has a solar company. And another friend of ours works for solar as well. And he was like, bro, you can't do that for me, for like a solar company. I'm like, I guess I'm doing home services. I don't know, what would I offer you? And then he's like, well, right now I'm paying a company $200 to $300 a lead, and it's horrendous. Like, all the leads they give me are just hagglers. It's a waste almost at this point. He's like, if I'm spending that money, I would like to spend that money with you if you can provide something better. He goes, I don't care about the cost at that point, as long as we're making moves. At that moment, let him know, I'm like, Hector, real talk, bro, I am so new at this. I just started talking shit because that's just me. I'm like bringing it up, and I don't know what I'm selling, but if you're open and I can actually get you business, like, we can rock and roll, we can do something. He's like, bro, let's find a time to talk, and I'm open to anything. So I don't know if what I can offer, right? Because I had my first call today actually with Saeed, and we spoke at Cannes, and then I didn't even think to ask him about that, but I wouldn't know what to offer a solar company. So what would you suggest offering somebody that has solar? Like, is it Facebook ads? Is it SEO? Is it what?
Yeah, it could definitely be any of those, right? At the end of the day, solar companies, what they really would just want is leads, right? They want high quality leads. And
Yeah.
when I say high quality leads, and this is for everyone, there's never a place in marketing or anything that's gonna be everyone's gonna be high quality. It doesn't work that way, right? There's always a percentage, right? So it's like, for example, 30% of our calls that we get, we just cancel, right? Because they're just tire kickers. For this market, there's people legit 2 years, 3 years, all they do is just book calls, and that's because they feel Yeah, and this is especially as you start scaling, like you start seeing things like, whoa, this is interesting. They start getting a sense of they're making momentum, or they're actually, they feel like they're making some moves, but in reality, they're just doing calls, right? So, and for solar, it may be a little bit different, but the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there's always going to be a certain percentage of all the leads that are going to be in some sort of weird situation, right? Again, at the end of the day, everyone's human, right? So human nature, when it kicks in, is like interesting. So I'm just putting that out there, right? So whenever you guys are speaking to clients, when you can come in from this in-depth knowledge, no one is coming in with like saying the opposite, right? So a lot of times, like my selling style, a little bit is the opposite, right? I'm telling people like, all right, here's what we're not good at. Like we're just being so honest, like, here's our weaknesses, but here's our strengths. And then the people start selling themselves into like, okay, like no, I really want to work with you guys, right? So it's the same kind of thing whenever you're on like a sales call, whenever you hop on, it's like, this specific thing may not be the best, but what we can do is like focus in on like the 70% of the leads that are coming in, right? So that's just a quick little note for everyone, quick little tip there. But to answer your question, it's not as important as like whether it's Facebook or SEO, email marketing. It's not really that important. But at the end of the day, what's most important to these people is results. Like they want money in the account, right? So when we start thinking like that, then we can kind of like go on backtrack, right? So this solar company, chances are they probably are already getting leads from a different place as well, I assume, right? Exactly. Okay.
Yes.
Why open up a new front, right? It's like, let's get very clear on why we're going to open up a new front, right? Because why not we just take that one specific thing and just scale into it? And that's a big misconception people have. And also when we first started, we wanted to be on TikTok, like what wasn't TikTok, but we wanted to be on Instagram. We wanted to do every single service under the sun for ourselves to like get leads. But what happens is you don't catch a single rabbit, my friend, right? The thing is, each of these platforms are really intense. So it's like that's why for you guys, we only push two things. That's it really. Facebook, which is paid ads, and LinkedIn, which is organic, right? So the same concept goes for your clients. It's like, what's current, especially if something's working for them, that's easy, man. You just take a look, do an audit, and it's like, all right, cool. How can we scale? And a lot of times, these business owners, they do not, even though the answer may be so simple, right in front of them, they get so stuck into the weeds, the nitty gritty stuff that they completely forget of like, oh, right there, duh, right? But it takes that third person. And when I say a business owner, I mean even ourselves. We have mentors. We pay a lot of money to people to tell us things like, it's right there. The answer is right there. But sometimes as a business owner, you get so stuck into the day to day where you completely just forget. Or like it doesn't cross your mind. It's like, oh, because we try to overcomplicate things as humans for some reason. I don't know what it is, right? So, and that's why maybe you guys are all also on this call, right? To kind of like see from our perspective. And we do the same exact thing. So the same goes for your clients. When you speak to them, what's the quick wins that you can get them, right? Because when that credit card goes through, right? It's not all about just collecting money. When that credit card goes through, that's just one sale you make. The next sale is buyer's remorse, right? People start thinking, okay, was that a good decision? Was it not? They start questioning. All these things happen. So it's like, let's be very intentional about getting these people quick wins, right? And what we like to push, especially for the people who have like a Facebook group, is like a promo cycle. So as soon as someone like launches their Facebook group, we want them to launch a promo cycle, which is basically like, a marketing method to like attract, the low hanging fruit. When it comes to the clients, right? So the same thing goes for your specific clients. What's working, understand it, and then what's the 10% that's gonna move the 90% for them as soon as they sign on that dotted line for them. That's the way to do it versus should we do this or should we do, let's audit what's currently working and scale that if we possibly can. There has to be a real strong reason for them to try to go to a different platform. And you as a consultant, you have to hold the line and say, no, doesn't make sense for you to go on a different platform and do it.
They have no platform. Like, let's say he was just paying them and then he stopped. Because his thing now, he's like, bro, honestly, I left that alone. I'm door knocking. Like, he's like, I went back to my bread and butter. Like, I'm
What is
door
the bread and
knocking.
butter?
Door knocking.
Okay. So that's his main source of income, correct?
But yeah, at the time, yes.
So is he by himself or can he have a team under him?
I don't know. I didn't go that specific. I know Hector, he does have a team under him, but an installation team. He's pretty much the sales of his own team. Kind of like what we're doing, right? Like, I'm the sales guy. I got fulfillment. So he's like, I'm just door
Yeah, why not?
knocking.
He can always run some model. This is we ran this as well. It's called an RBD, so it's like regional business developer. I think this is kind of like what he could potentially do without really knowing his business. But again, it's like what's working. Let's scale that first. So if door knocking is working, he can just have an RBD under him to help him, do the same thing essentially.
What if, oh, so then I'm out the picture, right? Because I don't have an RBD.
If you what's your industry? What's your specific
I'm in the
industry?
home services. So I'm aiming at general contractors, roofers, and the likes.
Okay. Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you just give people free value, man, and it'll
All
come
right.
back.
Yeah, he's
Like
my man. So I'll do it. I honestly would give him free value. Anybody. I'm not here to hold anybody. I don't
it's
want
really
business that I can't earn.
100%. Yeah. If you feel like, again, like there's things we can do, like on the social sector, right? On the social side, I'm just giving you thought processes of how to think, right? We can definitely open up like Facebook, or we can definitely go into that. If he's like, okay, you know what? I'm at a place where I'm personally maxed out, right? I'm personally door knocking. I'm personally maxed out. I don't want to have another member on my team, right? I want to do this online thing. Then it's justified to like, all right, cool. Let's open up this can of worms here, right? Then we can go into it, right? So then if we look into that, chances are it's gonna be like Google or Facebook. Either of those probably is gonna be a really good vehicle for him to get into. And I would personally, again, same exact way we help you guys craft offers is like look at what his competitors are doing. So identify some of his like 3 to 5 competitors. What are they doing? Like who he wants to be like. What are they doing? What's their marketing? And just replicate it, but make it way better. That I view our competitors as our business partners. Every single of our competitor, I would never think of someone bad, or I'm like, man, thank you, because they're doing one thing maybe that's better than us, right? If I can pick up that one thing from this guy, I can just combine that and add our own creative genius. Here we are, one of one, right? Same concept goes for your clients, and this is how to give them quick wins as well.
Thank you, man.
Yep. Does that help?
Yeah, it does because I kind of didn't know how to respond. But again, since he's my friend, he kind of understood that. I wasn't lying. I wasn't like, yo, I got this thing popping, bro. I said, literally, I am starting from scratch at the moment. I have the people that fulfill it, but I don't know what would work for you. So now I can give him a better idea. Like, hey, if the door knocking is working for you, why don't you hire an RBD, right? And then I know he's gonna come back with nah, I really want to do online. So then I'll go to, okay, what
Yeah.
worked for you in the past? Like what was working for you that you stopped?
Yeah, a big part of, by the way, the reason why I'm saying that is there's so many things we're hitting there, but let's just analyze a little bit, right? Why am I telling the client that, all right, it's probably in your best interest to go to exactly what you're currently doing? Number one, trust. They're like, dude, this guy doesn't even want, like, I want to give him, I'm here to try to be a client. He's pushing me away, right? So now always remember one thing: people want what they cannot have, right? And this is just being genuine, right? We're not like trying to play any tactic. Like this is true, right? So it's like, this is what's working. Why don't you just do that, man? Right? And we do this a lot. And people then what they do is they start selling themselves into why they really want to get in with us, or they really want to work with us. We don't have to do any of this stuff. We're just sitting there. They're just talking. They sell themselves into it. So what happens with that? There's so many layers there's so many things that happen with that. Not only, of course, you collect the credit card, but also the client is going to be a better client. They're going to take you more seriously, right? Because they wanted it way more than you wanted you wanted them, right? So that's why we don't ever want to chase, and we always want the client to sell themselves onto what we're doing, right? Because if we're opening up another sector for him, like for example, Facebook ads or Google, if we're trying to just really force it down his throat, then he's probably not going to take it very seriously, even if you collect the credit card details. But what's the point of that, right? Because like we're not here for like quick short-term cash grab. We're here for lifelong clients, and the only way to do that is if they take some of the action that we need them to. Does that make sense?
100%.
So action items: have them identify 2 or 3 first competitors. Go on, and you can even do this as well. You can go to like ads library, see what's working. There's a tool. I've done a whole video on like how to like see what's winning and what's not. But basically, you can go to like, it's called like Ad Spy or Big Spy. Type in that specific that specific competitor, and you'll see some of the ads. The ads that are like that have like maybe thousands of comments or a lot of views and stuff. You can see the analytics. That's making money. Take that. We're not in the business of copy and pasting, of course. We want to reinvent it a little bit. but we have a really good structure in what we call fodder, right? Take that, and the copywriting will be like structured around that. Put it on Facebook, run some ads, and there you have yourself, you know, a company. So yeah, let me drop that riff for you guys here, the 2 links. So here's how it works. $150, I believe. I think some of them are different. It's just one time though, so it's like per month. But what we did is we got it once and we canceled it, right? But what we got was like we did a lot of research, like we put all our competitors in, and now we have a Google Drive that we put in, so we have screenshots of all the ads. So anytime you want to, if we're like, oh, a marketing campaign's dying out, no problem. We just come in and we have an idea of like, this is exactly how, you know, what's working for them, what's our uniqueness, you know, mix it up, and there we go. We have an ad copy, and all we have to do, guys, super simple. Put money behind it. That's all. Put money behind it. Get the leads in, calls coming in, and work on sales skills, and there you go.
Oh, Zarar, did you put the link into the? I don't see the link.
Yeah, I'm finding it right now. 1 second.
Oh,
See
okay.
the 48 laws of power. Law 36 is disdain that which you cannot have, and it's similar to what you just said, right? In terms of the more you avoid it, the more it comes. And he
100%.
gives examples. Very sinister book, by the way. But if you take it and read it in the right way and just change it to help instead of manipulate, life is good.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly. There's a fine line between that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. So that's one of the ones. I think that's the one we got, but there's another one. It's called AdSpy. I'll send you guys both links. But yeah, does that help? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, 100%. I needed again coaching, a second ear as to how to approach it.
Yeah.
What you
So
said
I
makes
gave you
sense.
things there, right? Number one is the specific answer of what I would do if I was in your shoes, but number two is how to think next time, right? Because we're in the business of giving you the skill set of how we think, so that now you can take it on, and you know, you can kind of go from there. And when you hop on some of these calls, you're going to sound really competent and like really, you know, appear very trustworthy. Cool.
I have a question, Zarar. So when we land our first client and we're giving them like the ads. In the meantime, when the ads are being developed, we should be influencing the client to do stuff to get the quick wins, is what you're saying. So they get stuff right away while the ads are being developed.
Yeah,
So
I
you
mean,
want.
think of it from the client's perspective, right? Even when you make a purchase, right?
Mm,
Is it like, don't we all get like, especially if it's a big purchase, it's like buyer's remorse maybe, or like these some small little things start to happen. Like, was it the right decision? Think when you start thinking like that and you start making everything for the client and being very customer centric, the customer feels like the momentum is there, right? Like the momentum is kicking in. It's like, they just want to feel at ease. Like, okay, got it. Like, you know, but a lot of times what happened, this is, man, some of the biggest mistakes agency owners can make is like they land a client and they just cool. Like they schedule the onboarding call after like maybe a week. And it's like, man, the client's just waiting, right? So that's why one of the things I think probably all you guys, we try to schedule the onboarding call on the sales call, right? And that's where you're basically carrying people to every single point that you possibly can after you even collect the credit card details, right? That's not where it stops, right? Most people think that's where it stops. That's actually where it begins, right? Because they came in for a specific reason, and now they need help, and now here we are, we have to show up. So that's where it actually starts, right? So being very intentional about every small little thing. We try to send out there's like a welcome email, like for us, right? A lot of you guys have probably gotten the welcome email. It's really like, you know, there's like 3 or 4 steps. It's really well written, and that as a client, that just puts you at like ease, right? A little bit. It's like, okay, cool, right? So same thing for your clients. It's being very intentional, and again, we have templates for everything, right? So like, just take those, put your company name in, slightly modify, right? Because we want everyone to look different, and just start using that, right? Everything, like the communication is 50% of client success, by the way, is just communication. It's
of
pure
course.
communication.
So I guess a good method, Zarar, to go with is to let the client know that, hey, this is not going to be like a sit back partnership, that, you know, I'm going to be communicating with you a lot, and I just need to, you know, so when the process starts, let them know that I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. I'm going to need information from you, like pictures, different things that you need, and there's going to be a constant line of communication. Like, let them know that, and let them know that I'll be honest, you need to be heavily involved in this project. It's not a situation where you can just sit back and not be available to answer questions. We have to ask questions to make sure you get the best service, like something like
Yeah,
that.
you probably want to even do that on the sales call, or like sprinkle it in. You don't want to do too aggressive there. You want to
Yeah.
sprinkle it in, because you know, people when they have all these things, then they'll start talking themselves out of it. But it's like, let's be expectations wise. This is how it's going to work. The specific minute details are going to be what's for the onboarding call. That's where you basically handle all what you're basically doing is pre-frames. Pre-frames and reframes is all you're really doing when it comes to, you know, leading people to what do you call of what they can expect, you know, ongoing. So yeah, that's
I have another question for you, Zarar. I know I have a lot of questions.
no
But
problem.
so like when you were first starting off doing sales, did you reach a point where you were able to just get on the sales call and close the same time? Because in my experience, most of the clients I've talked to, most of them have had multiple calls. Like the client I'm told you I'm about to close on, I've spoken to her on 2 different calls. And the other client that I had, I spoke to him 2 calls. Like my second client was 2 calls I had with him. So normally I'm not able to resolve everything in one call. Usually it's like I'm talking and they're like, oh, I got to think about blah, blah, and they book another call. And it's like, I don't know the approach to try to close on the first call. It seems like really hard. It's like I'm doing multiple calls with the same person. Because if they're not interested, the call ends like right there. But if they are, I find I'm on a second call. They're like, okay, I want to book another call next week. And they call me again. We talk again and we cover more stuff. And closing on the first call seems for at least for me, it seems rather difficult to get it done on the first call.
Very good question. This is an amazing question. So just what Kyle said, every closer is slightly different, right? And I'll tell you like my style versus my brother. So right now my brother is closing the launch my agency offer. His style is very different than mine. I was more of like, maybe I was like very limited on time. So I would just like try to go for the one call close. And when I say that, I don't mean by when I say one call close is like, oh, they have to pay the whole, like, no, I need commitment. Keyword commitment. That's all I cared about. It's like,
Okay.
I need that commitment. My brother's very different, right? Like he will talk to people 3, 4, 5, 6 times, right? I don't know if some of you guys, I think Jenna, maybe, I think you, right? Like, yeah, you guys are talking about like Packers and like, you know, all these things. So that's his style. It works really, really well for him, right? For you, it kind of depends on your personality as well, right? So it's like, it depends on certain factors, your personality, the time that you have. So there's no shame in like closing people 3, 4 calls later, no problem there. But ideally, you probably want to aim for like 2 calls or so, right? If
Okay.
you can get someone for the first call, cool. Because there's no point of just having calls, just to have calls. Like there's no point of
Of
that,
course.
right?
Yeah.
Right? There's some use cases though where you want to have 2 calls, for example. Here's a really good example. Someone may come in and they're like spending money on radio ads or spending money on TV, and they have no clue about social media marketing, and they're just coming in, right? And they may be expected, for example, traditional marketing, right? So for example, you know, it's rare, but it could happen. So it's like that person hops on with that expectation, and then they tell you on the call, like, no, I want to hear about what you have. Like, I'm interested. No, we're not doing that, right? Because you didn't even know, like, you didn't even want this. So why? It's not in your best interest for me to do this, right? For me to even tell you what we have, because we're not going to work together if you're not on the same page prior to this. So what we can do is we can break the call process up in 2 calls. Call number 1 is just selling them on the vehicle. That's it. What you're doing is you're selling them on the vehicle. What I mean by that is, all right, you should have some statistics open. Every single year, there's 4 million new businesses that are started in the, worldwide, right? And you can pull up some statistics of like how much wasted ad spend there is when it comes to like traditional media versus when it comes to like, social media management. So you can have some comparisons there. And you're just basically selling the person on why they should do social media marketing versus doing the traditional route. That's it. We're not even going to the offer. Like people will like
Oh,
say, really, we're not even doing that. It's like, I want you to watch maybe a video, and this is where a pre-call video comes in. I think I have a very long training on this on how to come up with your own pre-call video. So the pre-call video is when someone books in a call and you send them that one link to that one video of just selling them on the method. That's it, not you, right? Just the method of what it is. Because you can't make 2 sales on one call. It's very, very difficult to do that, right? It's one sale at a time. So the first sale, again, is just sell them on the vehicle, sell them on the method that the social media marketing is the best, fastest, most efficient, quickest way for you to go from where you're at to where you want to be, all right? The second call is here's why we are the best fit for you specifically. That's where you want to break up the 2 calls there. But if someone comes in, they're very green, there's only 3% of the market, guys, that is ready to buy right now, right? That 3% you can probably close. But what about the other 97%, right? There's like 20% or so that they're just solution aware, right? And then there's other people who are just problem aware, right? They know they have a problem, they don't have a solution, or they don't know what a solution would be. And then there's a market that they don't even know they have a problem, but they do, right? So it's like these are the sectors and like how we view marketing. And based on that, when you get someone on a call, is how you can position them into a certain area and take them down a certain way. So whether it's one or two calls, or whether it's how to communicate on whichever call that you're on, is going to be very different for each specific person versus just having a blanket thing for everyone.
Do you think it has something to do also with people's like commitment with their business? Because I know I'm committed with my business. I've had my company since 2018, and I'm okay spending money. For instance, when I was on the call for LMA, I closed in the first call. Like, I had money. I was serious about what I was doing. I didn't have to go on 3 calls. I closed with you guys in the first call. I had the money available. I was like, I like what I'm hearing. I'm interested in joining, and I signed up right away. I had the money, and I am investing in my business. So I think a person who's kind of like just working the weekends, they're eyeballing stuff, they're kind of doing this as a little kind of hobby type thing, they're not serious about the business, they're going to shy away from trying to put money into it because they're not really serious about it. And I think
Yeah, go ahead.
and because I was speaking to one client, I got her information, I called her for a discovery call, and she got on the phone. Immediately she was aggressive, but I deal with different personalities though. But so what she told me was, I think social media is a scam. And I'm thinking, like, if you think social media is a scam, then why did you apply to an ad on social media and then immediately say it's a scam? She told me, I think social media is a scam. And I was like, I was kind of flabbergasted. I was like, why? And she said, I explained to her, I explained to her how everything worked. And then she told me, that's not my ideal client. So I sent it back to her and I said, okay, ma'am, what if what I'm describing is not right? What is your ideal client? And she couldn't answer the question. I was like, who is it that you're targeting? What is your ideal client? Why don't you just tell me?
You're,
And she
you're gonna
was,
get all sorts of people. Like this is especially as you scale. Oh man, like we see some interesting situations.
yeah,
It's just part of it, right? It's just part of the
I
game.
understand. Yeah, I
We're business
understand.
owners. This is what we signed up for, right? Again, it's like
Of course.
people need help. And to answer your question though, is like there's always different types of people, man. Some people will
Yeah,
close on the first call. Personally, actually, I wouldn't. That's just me though,
that's
right?
you. Yeah,
Even
yeah,
like everyone's different, right?
yeah.
And again, there's no right or wrong. It just is, right? People are wired a little bit different, right? And
Of
I
course.
know what do you call one of my best friends, he was surprised to hear that I wouldn't close on the first call. He's like, dude, I would just do it. He's like, I also have my credit card ready. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that, right? I'm just a little bit different than he is, right? But and again, these are when you speak to clients or like potential leads, they're very different people as well, right? Some people want to hear something specific, or some people want to sleep on it. Like I'm not for really giving people that leeway of just like I want to sleep on it, I want to think about it. I very rarely do I ever actually listen to them. Sometimes it's genuine, right? Because I'm not like we don't buy bullshit, right? People will bullshit you, but you'll
Of
know
course.
sometimes people actually need a day to make a decision, like they need it to marinate, and those
Oh,
people you give it to them, right? But we don't give it to the people who are just saying this to say it, right? We hold them
BSing you, the
accountable,
people. Yeah,
right? You hold them accountable, but yeah, to answer your question though, it's going to be very different, right? Some people one call close, some people two, three. It just kind of you just get a feel for it. Just know sales principles, right? We have trainings on sales, so go through those. But it's like people have a problem, they have a goal. And we're just trying to bridge that gap for them, right? And based on what they're telling us on the calls, we know we can have a good sense of if they are genuinely serious or if they're just trying to get away from it. And if they're trying to get away, we come in and we hold them really accountable because that's what they're paying us for, right? Like we're not just they want to get to a different level, right? If they were already at that level, they wouldn't be on the call, would they? Right? It
no.
just is common sense, right? So that's all. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I would
Any,
like to.
yeah.
Yeah, I said I was gonna add. Way back in the day, maybe 15 years ago, I was doing outside sales, and they teach you how to sell people door to door, that sort of thing. And closing is a lot about your customer. It's not really. It could be your style to be. I if it were up to me, I'd close every one of them in one call. Get it over with. Would you like to pay? Or so will it be Visa or Mastercard? And keep it moving from there. But every customer is different, they taught us, BOLT was the acronym that we were taught, BOLT. So you have your bulls, your owls, lambs, and tigers. Yeah, so your bulls, they're the ones that, that answer that they don't trust anything. They're really, they don't believe it. Everything's a scam. You got to kind of convince them and kind of like drop their guard.
That's what I had.
Owls, which, and I consider myself an owl. I wasn't a one call close for LMA. I was three, I think maybe four. It took maybe 4 calls to close this, but we had 1,001 questions. We were prepared. We did research or whatever, and we wanted to make sure that that you guys could handle the questions that we had. You have your lambs. They're the best. Everybody wants a lamb. They roll over. They sign me up. Here's a card. And then tigers are people who are very like emotional buyers. Like people, like if you're sometimes people get excited, and you, as trying to sell them, you have to kind of match their emotion. You got to match their excitement level, or else you'll kind of like lose them. Like they can go from like 60 to 0 in 2.3 seconds if you say the wrong thing, or kind of aren't with them in that moment. So these are things that you just kind of have to pick up on as you talk to people or whatever, and see where they're at, meet them where they're at. A lot of things, and mirror their body language. If they're sitting like this, then yeah, you could do kind of like the same thing. And it's just a subconscious thing to kind of help people see themselves in you, and that always helps them kind of like drop their guard and listen to what you have to say. But again, everybody's different. Just learn to adapt, go with the flow, and you'll be fine. It's just, at the end of the day, you're just having conversations with people, and people buy from people they like.
Yeah, that's all. Amazing. Love the acronym. That's really good. I never heard of that one. That's really, really good. Awesome. Any other questions, or anything that someone wants to ask?
Um,
Jordan, we'll review your call, but I just want to make sure everybody else's stuff is answered as well.
okay, cool.
No, we're good.
Just to add what George was saying, I hadn't heard that acronym either, or the relation to it with animals, but I've heard it in personality quadrants. Fire, lightning, basically like the lightnings are your engineers. But what I've learned the most is just really taking the cadence and making sure that you're following even their patterns. So, George, you mentioned like they're mirroring, but if you're on a phone call, a lot of times you can't see that. But if I talk fast naturally, but if I'm talking to somebody who slowly tries to talk slow, mostly talk slow, I realize I have to slow down because they miss information, or they think I'm talking over them, and it's not meant to be rude. It's just the way I talk. So that's a big thing that I learned.
I can add to that too. Just that reminded me of something. I also learned about like 2 types of people. There's the security dominant people and the autonomy dominant people. So like you'll know even in the questions maybe that people are responding to, like, so the security dominant people, they want details, right? They want all the details. They want to know what to expect. They want to know everything, who, what, where, when, how. So you prepare based off of what you know about them, even in the questions maybe that they're answering, right? And then the autonomy dominant people, those are the ones that want to win. So it's like, I think, it's like, all right, well, they want to hear how you can help them win. Like they don't care about the details or how you get them there, but they just, they want that big picture, attaining that big picture. So I like to remember that, and George and Jennifer, you just kind of reminded me of that, so wanted to share.
Amazing. Awesome. Cool. All right, let's open the call recording, and let's go through this. And this is which one, Jordan?
This is my client that I spoke to yesterday. I had 2 meetings with them. You wanted their name of the client?
No, I was just asking, like, you want to provide a little bit of context, or?
Oh yeah. This is my client I spoke to. She's from San Diego. She has a life insurance business, and also she's trying to start up a website and services for her church. So she had like so I was, searching for life insurance agents, and I also, so a little side note, I also have a client, an IT client, and they're a church, and I'm the webmaster for their church, and I charge them I do services for them. And I told her about that, and she was like, "Oh, I have a church I need web services for," and we had that discussion. So, in addition to her life insurance business, she needed help with her church. So I told her we could talk about marketing for that. She needed like a website and stuff services for that. So
Gotcha.
that's what ended up happening. So I couldn't. We had like 2 meetings. This is the second meeting. The first meeting was about. We decided to have 2 meetings. One meeting was about the life insurance services I was originally offering, and the second meeting was about the services for our church. Because
Okay.
even though that's not who I originally planned to service, I was like, well, if she needs this and it is marketing, I could help her with this and land
Gotcha.
something. So
All right, let's review. Ready for it, Jordan?
yeah, go ahead.
Do I have permission to?
Yes, go ahead. Permission, go ahead.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hold up. It just quit on me. It just crashed.
Maybe you have too much things open, I guess.
All right, can you guys see?
Yeah, I see it. Everything's about.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey,
Second, I'm trying to get my headset on. 1 second. Okay. Okay, I'm here.
awesome, great. Okay, so
I have an agenda all set up. I always like to have an agenda set up before, for the meetings and everything. So did you get to watch the link that I sent you for the recording from our last meeting?
No, I didn't. I talked to my husband about it, so I kind of remember everything. We're gonna wait on that just because of our budget right now. It's a little tight for that, so we're just gonna hold off. And then we'll just revisit it at a later time.
That's no problem. And just remember, whenever you decide.
I'm curious. So these calls are very potentially life-changing for people, right? I wouldn't even talk to people if their camera's up, like to the roof. Like this is pretty serious, right? Like I want to be very face-to-face with the people.
Oh, they adjusted the view later in the video. She pulls it down so I can see her. She fixes it. It gets fixed.
Yeah, but like setting that up is pretty important, like from the beginning. And by the way, it's like, because some people will show up without a camera, right? So it's like, oh, I can hear you properly, but I can't see you, right? And then they go like, oh, let me turn on the camera, and then or they're like, well, I'm in the car. And this kind of depends, right, on your calendar. Like if you have a stacked calendar, where we won't take the call. It's too serious. It's way too serious for you to just take this call, in a car. So it's best you find some time, because what we believe in is a truly life-changing decision potentially for you. So we're not going to do it in a place where you're kind of driving and because you're not going to be able to listen and like really hear what I have to say.
I don't think she was in the car in the interview. I think she was at home.
I'm just giving you an example. I'm just telling you. Yeah, in general, like for next time, it's like we always want to make sure that the person's ready there, and they're
Of course. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
To do it when you're considering when to start doing it, whenever you're doing, so there's two kind of things when you're doing doing stuff for like the business. There's some activities that obviously are not going to generate money, but when it comes to like ad spend, the thing you need to keep in mind also is that when you're doing ad spend, it's technically supposed to pay for itself after a while. So even if like you're doing services and the services were like, say the services were $800 a month, let's just say, for example, and you were paying for ads, eventually those ads.
You see her, she's not even paying attention. She's like flipping papers, this thing, that thing. It's like she's just she's not really paying attention, right? Like she's kind of tuned out.
Should pay you back. Like if you're doing a 3 to 6 month contract, before the contract is even over, it should be paying for itself at some point. So if you reach a point where you keep running the ads and you're like continuously doing it, and then you're not getting a return off of it, then it wouldn't even make sense to continue doing it.
You're too fast to defend it, right? It's like way too fast, right? Especially in the beginning. It's like when she's like, oh, it's too expensive. Just you don't have to say no worries.
I think I might have sent you the wrong one. I meant to send you the second one, but I think this was the first one we had. But I guess it's all right.
Wait, so she already knows what the price is?
No. I had 2 calls with her. I thought I was sending you the link for the second call because that was the one where it was like where we were actually discussing like closing on something. But this was the first one. I think. I think I sent you the wrong link. I think I
No,
wanted to
no.
send you
What
one.
I'm saying is how's this may be the second one because like she already knows the price or something, right? Like when she opened up, you asked her like, did you get a chance to see the email? She's like, yeah, it's too expensive.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. This was the second one. Okay then. Yeah, this was the second one then.
So it's like we would never we don't ever defend our price. By the way, like we have a belief where we're undercharging everyone, right?
Okay.
Like we completely undercharge, so we would never defend it. But we would in a different way, of course, right?
Okay.
But it's like, oh, it's so expensive. It's like, gotcha, I hear you completely. In relation to what though? Have them talk. Like we don't let them defend
Oh,
their stance,
oh,
right? It's like
she told me later in the call that she sees the value in my service, but basically what the context of that was it wasn't in her price range at this point. She told me when I spoke to her, she was telling me later in the interview that she in the call that she saw the value in my service and she really wanted to do it, but it was more so like it was out of her budget. That's what she meant by too expensive. Too expensive for her. That's what she was meaning by that.
it's never too expensive.
That's what
That's
she was meaning.
that's what I'm trying to say is like it's really not. We all live in America, and if we really wanted to, we could, right? Like if something actually mattered that much, it's just a matter of importance. So like I would, when it comes to the money objection, it's really not. It's
Okay.
I don't really pay too much to it. The reason for that is because we also come from a third world country, right? So it's like I'm not just saying things just to say them. Like we've been through that. We know what it is to like live on dollars, right? And we came up with a lot of money to invest in masterminds as well, or like to do the things that we ask our clients to. So this all comes from we've done it ourselves, right? That type of theme. So whenever someone says it's too expensive, no, it does no, it's not. There's always a way out, right? God forbid if her mom needed 10 grand to save her life for operation or whatever, she'd have it in 2 hours, right? And anyone would.
So,
We would figure it out, right? So it's like, cool, then it's not expensive. Then it's just a matter of it's not as important to us, is it? Right? That's sales, right? That because this is all high ticket, right? So this is these are some of the your level of questions are going to determine if someone closes or not.
okay.
That definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, we know like what you were saying and all of that. We
Awesome.
agree that it would be successful. It's just right now financially it's just a little tight.
Perfectly understand.
But
Perfectly.
now, but we know it works because we've talked to quite a few people that have done things like this. So no, I'm not concerned about the quality or any of that. I just right now it's just a little tight.
No, I understand. No, I totally understand. So I wanted to like show you some stuff really quick. So I wanted to show you one of my clients' website. I had a partner that was working with me. I've designed a couple of sites, but this site right here, I just managed this site for my client. One of my business partner, he worked with me and stuff like that. And he's the one that set this one
I'm
up.
curious why you went into this direction.
Went to what direction?
Like she's talking about the price, and you're like, I want to show you a website.
Oh, the reason being was because this call was about the first call was about the lead generation, and the second call wasn't about that at all. We were discussing like her church and stuff. So I was showing her.
So I'm asking, like, here's the thing, right? We want to be very clear. There's no loopholes. We want to make sure everything is watertight. And what I mean by that is, you know, a way to position this, that specific of what she said is like, she's basically saying everything's good. I know it's going to work, which is really good, right? She's like, believes in the system. She believes in the process. It's just a matter of finances, right? Like the money's there. It's like, gotcha, no worries. I hear you. Just so I can stay organized on my end, is money the only thing that's keeping us from shaking hands and moving forward, or is there anything else? And then sometimes you'll go through to the true objection of what the real thing is, because people will just say things just to say them, right? But sometimes it's actually just the money, right? And you want to get very crystal clear on like, is it the money or is it something else, right? If it's just the money, it's like, got it. So it's just about, and you want to do a tie down is what we call. Whenever they say it's like you double, you want to really make sure it's just about the money. The reason for that is because if you figure out a way to make it work for them financially, I don't want to hear a single objection about anything else because I gave them 2 chances. Like I was here, I was waiting. Like I asked you, is there anything else? You said no, right? So it's like I always want to go back and say, remember how early on the call you were telling me like XYZ, it's one of the most powerful things you can do, right? Because they themselves said it's only the money. Cool. So if we figure out a way to make this work, are we gonna be shaking hands and moving forward on this call? Yes or no? Whatever it is, right? Whatever the answer is, it's irrelevant. You're just there to do your job, right? To the best level that you possibly can.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Yes.
I'm gonna show you I did all the rest of them, and I do IT on the site, so I basically manage the site for the client. And I'll show you and talk to them and ask how they're. This is for Effort United Methodist Church. It's a church in Pennsylvania. In the part because I actually
She already believes in it. Like you don't have to do this. She's already bought into the what do you call it, the delivery. What you're actually doing here. So I'll tell you one thing. You could open up a potential objection, by the way. Oh, the colors suck, or the I don't like this. I don't like.
Okay.
You know what? You're just in a way you're shooting yourself in the foot. You could,
Okay.
right? Again, it's all a game of like, yeah, you could be shooting yourself in the foot because thing is, people don't really know what they need, right? If she's talking about a color like this, colors don't really matter. Like, unless her only goal is to have a really beautiful website, then yeah, for sure that it matters. You know what I mean? So it depends on our goals. But
thank you. Thank you for that. So so basically in the calls, try not to show too much if it's unnecessary. I was kind of like, I think she already believed me, but I was kind of trying to establish credibility and show her that I'm the real deal and I know what I'm doing. That was kind
but
of the
she
purpose
already
of that.
agreed to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's already on the same page. Maybe she's not, but at least she's saying that. That's why when we do these tie downs, when we get very like, is this the only thing? Right? Then what happens is like if money's the only thing and you make it work, because there's always a way, by the way. There are so many things you can payment plan it. Like we can figure out a way to we have people, like literally people sell their house, they sell their motorcycle, their cars. If they want it that bad, they'll do it. Like we just all our job, by the way, we don't ever force anyone to do anything. We just put it on the table. We just give them a perspective of like, you could potentially do this. And it's up to them. If they truly value it that much, they'll do it. Whatever it takes. No problem. They'll get it done. And by the way, those people are the best clients too. Like those are the ones who actually go all out. Like when they truly don't have the money, they become the best clients because they take it a lot more seriously than the people who have. You know what I mean? So there's just know of that as well, that dynamic.
Okay.
in myself to learn how to code and stuff to be like an actual developer. So this is code that I wrote that actually this is a register. I hate the web. Would just go there, get the name, if you pay half of it, and then the other half when the work is done, and then I will give you like a choice. Oh, in order. Those were some of the projects I did for the course, and I got certified in web development. So now I just developed websites and stuff like that. So I got trained in it. Even though I knew how to code a bit, I actually got formal training as well, to learn how to do it. So that's some of my work I just wanted to show you. And
yeah, George.
Why are you showing her code?
Why was I showing her that? Oh, I was just showing her. I know that was probably unnecessary, but I was just showing her that that I had the technical experience and I kind of just demonstrate what I was doing. That might have been unnecessary though.
Nobody wants to know how the hot dog gets made.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to know.
Okay.
They just want to know. Maybe if she was interested and she wanted to see some of your work, yeah, show her some of the pages and stuff, or some of the cool transitions or whatever the case may be. But code, never.
I guess I did too much. Yeah, I agree, George. I think I did too much. I was kind of overthinking it, George. I think you're right. I think I shouldn't have showed her that, but I was trying. I was kind of super. I was really, even though she believed me, in my head, I was trying to say,
exactly.
I want to show credibility. I want to.
That's what I was gonna get into.
I want to show her I'm not a faker, and I know how to code, and I know how to make stuff. I wanted her to trust me more. So, but she already trusted me anyway. But I think I kind of overdid it, maybe.
But what you're relaying to me is a self-confidence thing. It's and what they also talk about, the imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to, so to me, it's unclear who you're trying to convince here. Are you trying to convince the lady you're talking to, or are you trying to convince yourself?
I was really, so the way I was trying to look at it is, I know that people get scammed all the time, and there's swindlers, and I wanted to just say, besides just tell her that I'm credible, show her evidence so she can just see it, because I have had people almost kind of question me in some of the calls to try to get me to establish credibility, and I kind of wanted to try to
So
I
this
guess it
is
was.
your marketing? Yeah.
I guess it was. I guess it was a bad idea. I guess I shouldn't have done that.
Jordan, just to emphasize one thing, I know exactly what you're doing, and I completely understand. I'm with you. It's just when you do it, right?
Okay.
That's all. Like, of course, people want to know you're credible. People, I mean, like you're showing your certificate. It's not in the grand. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it does matter, but it's not as important as you may think. So what we do instead is we leave that for marketing to do its work, right? So in the marketing or in the pre-call video, before they hop on a call, you want to establish yourself as you are the expert. You don't want to have to oversell yourself when you don't have to, right? So I understand where you're coming from. It's just when you're using, right? That's all.
Okay.
And I understand the passion. So no worries there. Just for next time, there's no need to go into something that is not necessary, right? Because you're just shooting. Okay.
Also, I
All
would
right,
add, like, so in your situation, I am not a coder whatsoever.
Okay.
You know, so obviously that's not something that I would ever show, not because, it's really you're vomiting on the customer. So I wouldn't do that, but on top of that, it's not something I do. And matter of fact, I leverage that. If they ever ask me about, coding and this, that, and the other thing, you know what? I tell them, honestly, I don't do any of that stuff. It's my team. They're the one, it's the team and that I rely on that knows how to do all this stuff. And I would be glad to have you talk to somebody on my team or walk you through this stuff at a later point. I just want you to get kind of like the big picture at this point. I just want to see if this is a good fit for you. For me, is this kind of what you're looking for?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And keep it rolling.
All in.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I think I might have done too much. It was kind of just an attempt to just. I was kind of really trying to. I
You're
guess
just
maybe I
passionate
wasn't.
about it. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's again, everything that I mentioned here, I've made every single mistake probably at least a dozen times. All right. It's like it took me 37, by the way, guys, it took me 37 calls to close my first deal. 37. I'm like,
Wow.
man, I just suck at this. I can't even close a door. Right. Like all this only comes from spending, like at this point, over 6 figures just on sales. And me personally I've taken probably like 600-700 calls over my career, maybe more. And also I review, like overall, I review calls all the time as well. Cause like that's the biggest thing, because we have closers now. I just review their calls. So this is coming from thousands of calls and some of the best coaches in the industry. We have our sales manager is one of the best as well. So all this is coming from that level of experience. But just know that everything that you can ever say is what the mistakes that I've made or anyone else will ever make as well, right? So it's all a work in progress. But these call reviews are just here to give you one or two small things to be able to do next time. And then next time we come back, you'll be refining that one or two small things, but then you'll make something else, some other mistake or whatever. In a few months, man, this is a skill set that one of the most important skill sets you can ever learn, not only in business, but personal life, right? Sales is everywhere, right? So just know that on the high picture. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
I know we're a little bit, over time, but it's fine. We'll continue.
I want to give you a lot of options. I was thinking today about, because I want to try to see like what works best for you, and I can give you different incentives. So in order to create the website, I would charge $1,000 for that. Sites cost sometimes a lot more than that, but I would be willing to do it for $1,000, and we can break the payment up. Like I wouldn't want the price to be like a deciding factor. If that would be an issue, we could break it up into payments and stuff like that. There would be obviously, just to make the site, there wouldn't be like a contract or anything. It would just be, if you pay half of it and then the other half when the work is done. And then I will give you like a choice. If you wanted to fully just take the site over and manage it, then I could make the site and hand it over. But there's a little bit of options we have. It's whether would you want to go to for me to give you directions to go to GoDaddy?
Everything's permission based. I would never go into something where, because this seems like you're just really trying to place it to the client. What we do is we go through the whole thing. It's like, awesome. So where do you feel like you want to go from here? I mean, we can talk a little bit about the next steps and how that would look like, but you tell me where you want to go.
And it sounds like you're already negotiating with yourself, and you don't want to be in that position.
Okay.
Because whenever you try to sell it or another service or what have you, it's going to be, well, that's what you say, but what can you do for me? It's always going to be, you're always going to make it a price thing. Don't make it about that. Don't make it a price thing. It's about the service that you can provide.
Money's actually not as important as we think. Money's just a logistical objection. It's really not that. There's the other things that are more important than dealing with than the money objection.
The,
That's
the,
an
the
easy
other
one.
the other thing was I could have phrased it the way you wanted to, Zarar, but my whole thing was I don't think the client was super technical, and I don't think I think I had to tell her what the options would entail, because I don't think she would have been able to like just tell me exactly where to go. So I told her what the possibilities are so she can decide, because I didn't want to just tell her here's what we're gonna do. I wanted to just tell her what was the possibilities and let her pick what she wanted, instead of just telling her what I was gonna do.
Cool.
That was the whole thought behind that.
All right.
Purchase the domain yourself, purchase the server space on there, and have your own server and me to log into it and do the work, and you just pay me to develop it? Or would you want me to just do the work, and if you tell me what you want your domain name to be, I would have to check and see if it's available. I would purchase the server space under me, and then contractually I would sign it up so that you would have ownership of the site. And once the site is paid for, if all the fees are covered, I would be able at any time you wanted to hand the site over to you, like actually transfer the domain to a server that you have or the site. So you can let me know what you would rather do. Would you rather you actually go and get the domain name yourself and purchase it, and then purchase the server space, and then get the WordPress set up yourself, and then you just give me the sign-on information, I develop the site, and you pay the money that way? Or would you rather me do it? I can just charge you.
For next time, Jordan, don't take this the wrong way, but I want you to have a sticky note that says "talk less." It's
Okay.
In sales, less is more.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
And again, I know where this is coming from, because and by the way, we have a similar style. I would just, because I'm so passionate about it, and I created this, I would just like keep talking, and I'm like, relax. This is why people get scared. They're like, dude, this is way too much. Or she's, in my opinion, she's probably tuned out. Like, she's probably just like tuned out, right? It's like you're talking.
Okay, I talk way too much. Okay, so I should just shut up. Like, just say one thing and be quiet, right? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what I needed. I needed to be scrutinized, because I know I was probably screwing up, but you know.
No problem.
Charge a small little fee, like maybe $30 to just do all the work for you, and just you would pay that, and then the cost of the service, like just about $30 just for me to set it up, and then I would just go there, get the name for you, domain, get the server set up, and get everything set up for you, so you don't have to handle that part. And then it would be on my server, but I would contractually put in writing that the site is yours. So whenever you would want the site, I would be able to move it off my server to another one and just give it to you, and I can just manage it. If you want me to manage the site, that would be $300 a month for me to manage it. But if you sign up for lead generation services, I would be willing to waive the management fee of $300. That would get waived if you sign up for any of the lead generation packages. And if you were to commit to 6 months or longer with that lead generation, I would additionally develop the site for free. But you're not ready for that now anyway. But and if you bundle any of the lead generation plans that we mentioned, like the small package or the big one, if you bundle it together, on top of a 10 or 20% discount, I would the cost of paying for the domain and the server space would be covered. And then everything would be free if you did that. So if you did that, I would just do the site for free. I would manage the site for free, and the domain registration and covering the fees and keeping it up to date, I would cover everything for the duration of the contract. So that would be an incentive. Like once you start doing that, if you so if you don't, so here's the deal I could also do. And if you decide to do that in the future, since I'm charging you for the site, what I would do is I would give you $1,000 discount to reimburse you for paying for the website if you decide to sign up later. I would, if we did one of the contracts where I was saying that I would do the site for free, like if you bundled, when I said that I would develop the site for free, if you committed to a 6 month or longer contract, if you were to do that, to commit to a 6 month or longer contract, then what I would do is one of the contracts, I would deduct $1,000 across the contract to reimburse you for what you paid already. If you do it in the future, I will keep a note of it that you decide to do the lead generation and you're doing it for 6 months or more. I would still give you the deal, and if you pay for the site and you qualify to have gotten it for free later on, I will just reimburse you through the cost of the service contractually, like take the money off.
Okay. Well, I know for right now, but thank you for that that option. Most likely we wouldn't be able to do that right now, but I like because we did have GoDaddy before.
So of course we already covered, like, talking like there's a lot of things happening, but it's like whenever you drop something, and this is one of the most important pieces, like be very attentive to what they're saying. I wouldn't be able to do that right now. Right now? What does that mean? Like, let's go deeper. Like, what do you mean by right now? Right. And then a big part is if you ever, but this is a really good tip, by the way, for anyone. Anytime you want to ask a specific question about something and you want clarity, basically just repeat that same thing back to the client. So over here, she says, I can't do it right now. It's like, right now, just let them talk then. And you'll be able to see what the real thing is underneath.
Okay.
Or like what they're really thinking, right? Because we really want to know what they're thinking. That's all it is.
I've done that before. The issue was trying to maintain it. That became our issue.
Yeah, because there's a lot of work. So there's web development.
Let her speak. Very important. Let her communicate. Like, you just gave her so much. Like, let her talk. Right.
Okay.
So there's
Here's how to view this. Discovery phase, right? There's just go back to the trainings that we've done, right? We kind of break down sales pretty well, like when it comes to the first call, second call, the whole thing. Discovery phase, you're just asking questions and you're just quiet. You're just really trying to see like what's happened, because there's no need for us to come in. You're just trying to see where that person is. When it comes to the pitch, when it comes to the second part, that's where you go out with your pillars, the 3 or 4 pillars, whatever you have. Just make your script based on kind of what we have. We do like multiple 7 figures from that script. We just given it to you guys, so you just put your stuff in, put your pillars in, and just kind of repeat some of those things on the call. And you basically want to get a tie down for every single pillar that you do, right? So it's like, does this make sense? Cool. Any questions that you have specifically on what I've just explained? Just wait. No questions? Cool. Next pillar. Same thing. Next. Again, we don't want objections on the back end. If they're confused about something, they will never buy. You can give them this discount, that. It's not about money. They don't understand what you have, right? It's like we want to really make sure that they are in alignment with the process. We are very heavy on like, if the person's not aligned with the process, we will not tell them the price. Like we won't even go into that. There's no point. There's no point. Right? Even if it's free, you're not going to take the value from it. What's going to happen? You're going to come into our system. You're going to come into our world. You're not going to use anything. You're just going to be sitting there and just wasting our time, our resources, your time, your resources. Might as well you go somewhere else, right?
Yep.
So, does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yes.
because I also, in addition, I do like a lot of stuff. I also work for a tech company too, and I'm a software tester as well by profession. I test websites. That's my job as well. I do a lot of stuff. So I'm also a software tester, and I work with software engineers. And the thing is that being testing sites, developing sites, and maintaining servers are 3 separate jobs and 3 totally separate skills. So if you develop a site, making a site, you cannot just make a site and just leave it there because things happen. You need to have somebody go into the server, clean up the file. Going down, why did it go down, what happened with the server? It's a lot of stuff. So if you're not comfortable doing that,
that's what I'm saying. Most likely we would have you go through GoDaddy, because I think you actually purchased it. I think you did. I'm not sure, we have to check.
The site,
but I
the
think
site
the server's done.
Sorry.
The site's already done. It's just that we need someone to upload the information for us and then just manage it. That's what we would really need.
Okay. So the site is made already. So you don't need somebody.
It's not made yet. I think we purchased it at one point, or we were in the process. I don't remember. It's been a little minute, but I think we had done that at one point. I just have to go back and see, because the whole issue was we just didn't have the time to upload all the information.
Gotcha.
I didn't have it, and I'm not my cousin.
So you were, just to be clear, you were selling her a site, but she already has a site. You found out right now?
No, she's kind of confused as to whether the domain name and stuff was purchased. She doesn't even really know at this point. She said she's going to come back to me and let me know. So basically at the end of the call, she was telling me she's definitely going to need me to at least manage
right
the
here.
site.
So this specific thing where she said, she's like, oh, I already have a website. But my question to you is, were you selling her a website? Like, I thought that's what you were selling, no?
Yes, that's initially what website and service to manage the site.
She already has a website, correct?
So what she was telling me was she thinks that the domain and the server is there, but she has to check. She thinks that it was purchased already, and she has to check. And she said she might need me. She said she will let me know if she needs me to develop a site or not. She sounded kind of confused. So, but she said that she would at least need me to service the site, like actually manage it. But she might also, she said she will let me know later on if she'll need me to make it, but she at least needs me to manage it. Definitely, the management part is what she said she definitely needs.
All right, so one of the most important questions you can ask at the top of the call, the beginning, is like, you build a little bit of rapport, 30 to 60 seconds, cool, that's it. Then you go into like, I'm curious, what got you interested into booking this call here with me today? What they say there is everything. If they say something like, oh, I just wanted more information, potential tire kicker, right? Like these are potential, again, like, and again, I don't want to just give you guys these things based on like, just small little bits, but it's like after reviewing so many things, you see patterns, right? So like we know if someone is actually there to really like be very serious about it, or if someone's just kind of messing around with us.
Okay, and that's what I'm trying.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do, Zarar. I'm getting experience and trying to figure out who are the time wasters and who aren't, because I know some people will waste your time, and I'm trying.
In the beginning, for you, Jordan, every call taken, Like
Yes.
you gotta do this. You gotta develop the skill set, even if they're home. Just take the call for the rep,
Okay.
right? Super,
For the practice.
super important. That's my advice to you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, take every call because
Okay.
you need to get the skill set, better.
Okay.
She was the one that did all of that. So when she
Okay.
passed away, I think it stopped. Then
Mhm.
that was like back in 20, I think she died in 2021. So
Oh, okay.
2021 or 2022. I know I got it. So that's why it kind of stopped. So we had already started going that way. She was the one that was like uploading all information. And then finally she told us it was a lot because she was working with you anyway. It's
Okay,
just figuring
awesome.
out which direction we want to go and how
Yeah.
soon we want to start it. We're in the process financially to see would it just be better for you to do it or would it be better to go that way and then you just manage it. So I'll talk to my mom either way. We're going to probably be going with you anyway. It's
Okay,
just figuring
awesome.
out which direction we want to go and how
Yeah.
soon we want to start it. We're in the process of doing our LLC. So I'm thinking once all of that is done, then we'll be starting. So I'm thinking more like April-ish, the ending of April, beginning of May, we should have all the LLC stuff done. We had to redo, do the name through the state, so we're waiting for that paperwork to come through so we can use it. But that would just give us a little bit of time.
If you want, another thing I could offer you, I don't know if you would like this or not, but I could also offer you like business consultation stuff if you want to, like if you want to be consulted, because like I run a business too, and like I've gone through all that stuff. I've said
You're just really chasing her, right? Like really, really chasey. By the way, I will say anyone who says, "Oh, I'll come back in like 30 days," no. Yeah, that's very rare. Like out of the thousands and thousands of calls that we've seen, I can probably say like two people, literally, like two people who
actually came. Okay.
actually. And by the way, that's because also our marketing is pretty strong. Like we send out emails, like we're very aggressive when it comes to like our marketing as well. That's what gets these people in. So no one's coming back on their own. Like I mean, there's always a chance, but it's like so rare, for that to ever happen. So
Okay.
that's why it's like I need commitment, right? So it's like, cool, you want to get, you want to do it, you want to do it in April. Again, I would, I wouldn't want to wait till April. I wouldn't want to see what's happening up until like if they genuinely have to wait till April, no problem. But if they don't, if they're just trying to step in their own way, it's our job to step in and say, nope, not April. Now like what's holding us from doing it now, right? And like get deep on that, and then from there it's just commitment. We need some sort of commitment there. Like we're not going to leave the call. Have no fear when it comes to like people either hanging up or leaving the call, or giving you some sort of commitment. Like at the end of the day, why did we waste an hour of our time, right?
Of course.
Like
Yes.
it's either or. It's like we're gonna do it or we're not. Like no problem. Like there's no harm, no foul either way. I would not take anything personal, but I'm not gonna let anyone just go off. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I need some sort of commitment.
well, see, I've had my business since 2018. I've set it up myself. I didn't even go.
Yeah, but again, it wouldn't be starting right now. Again, we want to get our ducks in a row because of the fact that we got to get the other stuff done. So once
You don't want a client to be frustrated. She's frustrated here. Like you can feel it in her voice, right? Like, look, again, these are things that you'll start noticing after taking dozens of calls. Like you'll start noticing patterns and like how people communicate. Look,
Okay.
Yeah, but again, it wouldn't be starting right now. Again, we want to get our ducks in a row because of the fact that we got to get the other stuff done. So once all that stuff is done, that's what I'm saying. It's almost April anyway. So that's what I'm saying. Probably like the next 30 days, we'll definitely be moving forward. If not, the most would be like 45 days that we'll be moving. Because we're going to.
she's frustrated because you're chasing, right? You can ask any question, like no problem. We'll sit here, but if you ask the right questions, you don't want the client to ever feel frustrated. You want the client to be like, man, I never thought of that in my life, right? Like we have an internal belief where we believe that every single person we talk to, that night that they go to sleep, we want them to think about like what whether or not they buy, like it doesn't matter. Just them hopping on a call with us or with one of our advisors, we want them to know that, oh man, like that was a call, like that was I learned some things or I had different perspective changes, right? If someone is in that state, they won't be frustrated with you. They may like people start crying too, by the way. Sometimes people do that. Like, man, like if again, no one has ever asked them some of these questions, right? They're in a place, especially if someone's been just hopping on calls for 2 or 3 years of their life. It's like, do you think that maybe you're doing your family a disservice by just thinking you're taking action, but you're not doing anything? It's like pick one, just go for it, man. Right? So these are some of the things where you feel free to hold them accountable. That's what they're here for on the call. And we know what they're going to do. After a few months, they'll thank you. They'll be like, man, that was the best decision ever. Right? Like, even if they didn't sign up with you, but at least like, it's like in their mind, it's like, man, that conversation I had, I got perspective changes that helped me with this specific thing in my life. right? So at the end of the day, entrepreneurship is just value. It's just we're just trying to give value, whether or not they purchase, irrelevant.
Content up in on. I already started talking to my cousin. We're putting content on our. We're just got our not our Facebook. Well, we have our Facebook. We're setting that up. We have our YouTube. We're doing Instagram. We're doing TikTok. So that's all the different things that we're going to be doing just to get just get everything moving. But
is the Instagram and TikTok? I'm just gonna ask a question. Is Instagram and TikTok and all the social media? Is this for your church or for your agency?
Well, my agency, I handle that. I kind of do all the content.
We're just kind of like going in loops, but I hope that helped, guys. If there's, again, I'm more than happy to do call reviews. This is one of the most highest leverage skills you can do after you figure out your marketing, right? So the beginning is like leads. Get those leads in. The next constraint is going to be sales. It's like, cool, leads are coming in, booked calls are here. How do we close these deals, right? That's going to be the next constraint that everyone is probably going to go through. Even, if you feel like you're good at sales, there's always something that could have been done, right? No one's ever perfect, but yeah, just wanted to give you guys, a call review here. So hope that helped. If there's any follow-up questions, go ahead and use the marketing chat or the sales channel, marketing channel, whatever it is. And if you want me to review your call, just maybe next week, Christian's on, but the week after I'll be on and we can go through some more call recordings. All right.
Thanks for scrutinizing my call. I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, no worries, man. Like it takes a lot of courage. I know, and that's why I asked for permission, right?
No, it's cool. I don't mind. I don't mind being criticized. I want to learn, so I don't care if
I
someone
would
tells
do,
me
Jordan,
that I suck.
and here's how I did it, right? Because when I had my call by the way, I'm being very light on you. Like the way I had my call scrutinized, I was like, whoa, right? But it's because of that. I truly believe it's because of that of where we are now, right? Because we learn sales at a very high level. So what I would recommend, and this is what I did, I would review. So take this Zoom recording and just kind of like fast forward to this specific piece, review it, put in the car, review it like 5, 6, 7 times of the things that I said, and you'll start getting more confident. You'll start thinking like, whoa, like man, this is actually like, you'll start seeing the results when you're hopping on new calls, right? You start seeing the results of some of these things. But yeah, it's a constant, it's never ending when it comes to.
I don't take no offense, Zarar. I don't have to take any offense. You could be, you don't have to even be nice when you review my stuff. I'm used to that. I don't care about scrutiny. I want to get better. And if somebody wants to give me good feedback, it's just to get better. I don't take offense to anything.
Appreciate that. That's all that matters. Yeah. Cool. Yep. All right. Awesome. Anything else, guys, or are we good? Good.
Right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys next time. Again, use the channels, put your calls in there. Use this as much as you guys need. All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.